So this is a CBA review, number 1, on fractions and decimals. You're going to be taking your CBA on Monday, and we just want to review what you've already learned and talk about some test-taking strategies. So whenever you see a fraction, the best thing you can do is to find out what decimal equivalent that fraction is. And so whenever I see 3/4, whenever I see something divided in fourths, I think quarters. And so 3/4 or 3/4 in money would be equal to 75 hundredths. And then whenever I see a number like 14/25, in order to get a decimal, I need decimal place value, and that would be getting it to the tenths, hundredths, or thousandths. And of course, 25 can't go to 10. 25 can go to 1,000, but why not go to 100? And that is times 4. And so I would do 14 times 4, and I would have to come over. 14 times 4 is 56. And that's 56 hundredths. And then I say that, and that matches 56 hundredths. Now, 1/5, I can take 1/5 to tenths, and that would be the closest thing to take it to. So if I was going to do 1/5 to tenths, I would go times 2, and so 2 tenths. I say it, 2 tenths, and with place value, I know that 2 tenths matches up. And then this one is easy because it's 93 hundredths. I just say it, it's already out of 100, so I can just look at the place value. And the last is eighths. And eighths is, it doesn't go to 10, it doesn't go to 100, it goes to 1,000. And it goes to 1,000, and you just have to memorize this, by 125. And then I go 3 times 125 is 375. And now I say it, 375 thousandths, and so my place value is 375 thousandths. So you can see, you can either go to, you can think of it in quarters if it's 4, go to 100, go to 10, if it is already 100, and then go to 125, or go to 1,000 by 125. Now we're going to look at making equivalents or simplifying. And you'll do this if you're comparing fractions to each other. And you use a scale factor, which is the same number to multiply or divide the numerator and denominator by. And it's like multiplying or dividing by 1, but it's using a number so that you can find out either the simplifying or making equivalents. So if we have 3/9 and we want to simplify or scale down, we're going to find out what goes into both of those. And so it would be, of course, 3, and that would be 1, and 9 divided by 3 is 1/3. So 1/3 is the simplest form of 3/9. Now sometimes to add or subtract fractions or to compare fractions, we're going to want to make equivalents. And we can do the same thing here, but we're multiplying instead of dividing. So times 2 would be 6, and times 2 would be 18. So this is saying that 3/9 can also be 6/18. And if I did times 3, 27, times 3, 9/27, all of these are equal because it's times the same scale factor, the bottom and the top. So I could say that 3/9 is equal to 6/18, which is equal to 9/27. And if I'm comparing 3/9, I can use these to compare it to other fractions with the same denominator. Now, whenever you see a question like this, you have a table and you have labels, and this is sports, and this is people interested in this sport, and you're given a combination of decimals and fractions. Well, you don't want to compare fractions because of the whole making equivalents. It's much easier to compare decimals. So let's turn them all to decimals. The great thing is that some of them are already decimals. These are already decimals, so I know that that's right. Now I have to look at my other ones and make them equivalent to decimals. So 2/3, if I separated a bar into 3 different parts, each one would be 33, and so 2/3 would be worth 66. And this is just one that you need to memorize. 1/3 is 33, 2/3 is 66. 11/100ths, I just say, and that is, just say it, and then that is the way I write it as a decimal. And then 3/5, as we saw earlier, could go to tenths. And so 5 times 2 is 10, 3 times 2 is 6, 6/10. Now, I want to look at all of these with the same place value to make sure that I don't just say that hockey is the largest because it has the most number of numbers. So I need to fill in my zeros. And now all my numbers look the same, so I can look at place value. And I look at this and I say, these are both low, track and hockey. It looks like track is the least. So I can rule out this one because it says hockey is the least. So now I've got 3 that say track. Now I can look at the largest one, and that is football. And I can look at my choices, and this is the only one that has track as the lowest and football as the highest. Now I want to make sure that I did this correctly. We have track and then hockey at 135, and then the next would be soccer at 500, and then next would be basketball at 600, and last would be football at 6,600. But really, by looking at the first and the last, I was able to rule out everything. So if you can look at the least and the most, but then always check to make sure that they fall in line. The important thing here is to turn them all into decimals and be comparing decimals. Now we have the fraction and decimal on a number line, and this is going to be very important. You're going to have lots of questions regarding this. And first, I would put the decimals because that's more like money. And so I know that $2.10 is a little bit past 2. And $1.25 is going to be a little past $1. And then 56 cents is going to be right in the middle, right close to the middle between 0 and 1. 2 and 5/10 is going to go right in the middle because it's 2.5. And now I'm left with fractions, and I have to decide where to put these. Well, we already said that this is the same as 3/4, which is 75 cents, so that's going to go here. And then I'm left with 2 fractions that look kind of weird. Well, these are improper fractions, and to find out their value, I need to divide. And I would say 17 divided by 8. And 8 goes into 17 2 times, that's 2, and 1/8 left over. So where would 2 and 1/8 go? Well, it's going to go a little bit beyond $2.10 because it's $2.12. So it's going to go a little bit to here. And then 8/5, I have to divide again. 8 divided by 5. 5 goes into 8 one time. And 3/5 left over. So 1 and 3/5. So that's going to go past 1 1/4. 1 and 3/5 is 1 6/10. So it's going to go right about there. And so the question might ask you to place these on the number line, or it might ask you where this number goes on the number line, and especially the improper fractions. So here's your homework check. and you're going to need to pause. It is over 3 different pages that you'll have to answer questions. So I'm going to go through these, and you'll need to pause, fill out your homework form, or write this down on a piece of paper, then fill out your homework form.